The Self Project: Confidence, Key to Success by Jennifer Perez-Koelliker. So, for my project, to summarize what it's going to be about, it is a series of three experiments over the semester of this course. I chose to keep track of the times that I was able to be confident. I wanted to embrace who I truly am. I wanted to improve more, be more active, and all different places. I wanted to be part of whatever was going on at the time. In other words, I just wanted to feel safer being who I am. For study one, the method is during the semester of the class. During the times that I attended class, I carried my time like any other class. I didn't do anything different. I just simply attended the classes. However, to measure this, I chose to document the times that I was in class. I was able to keep track of three components: the times I raised my hand to contribute my own opinions, and second, the times I wanted to contribute but I did not because I was afraid, and the third one is the times that I had to actually talk because my teacher obviously picked me. So I was able to keep track of all those three things, and the outcome of it was this. The class participation chart is pretty much the times I wanted to, which is approximately about 27. The times performed that I actually did raise my hand and I was able to talk fairly was about 3. I feel like maybe less. Times I had to actually contribute was probably about 1 or so. This specific step kind of goes back to my self-project number 1, where things change over time, how people are able to go back and look at what was going on at that time, and then currently they are able to see what's going on, because each class was different, and each time I was able to see the times I performed such thing, and I was able to kind of try, but as the chart shows, I wasn't very successful. The times I wanted to talk were far more than the other times. I felt every time I wanted to try and raise my hand, it felt like I was having an anxiety attack, but I doubt it wasn't that was going on. I think I just made myself too nervous, so I never really raised my hand when I wanted to talk. The times performed were maybe 2 or 3. I can't really tell in this graph, but I do remember one time when I honestly cannot remember actually, but I think I did raise my hand and I did talk a couple of times. And then the times I had to, I actually remember this one. It was towards the last weeks of class, where we were doing an activity over the odds or whatever the whole class had to like us show the colors, and each color meant either adding or subtracting the points. And the teacher, well, we were going in order to tell our scores, and obviously when it came to my part, I did answer. I feel like it wasn't as nerve-wracking because I only had to say my number, so it wasn't that bad. But those were the times that I performed this specific chart. Moving on to study 2 method. This study is similar to the study 1. However, it's a different environment and a different setting. I chose to do this over work. I currently work with children. Technically, my official title is to be a lead staff. Pretty much run my own classroom. I help out. I try to do my best to help everyone. And if anyone has questions, they usually come to me. And if I don't know, then I go to my boss. For the measurement of this activity, of this study, I chose to keep tracks of the times that I was able to speak up or like speak with confidence when something wasn't going the way it was supposed to, and the times that it did not because of certain reasons, honestly, afraid, I guess. And this is the result of it. Times that did not. This is actually a huge improvement from the charts that I did in class. The times I did not were a lot less than the times I actually spoke. I usually try to speak up because this is something more than just me being afraid. I have to do what's best for these kids, and I have to be able to lead how I'm supposed to, so my staff can be able to do a quality job for the children. I feel like the times I did not, I actually kept a few of them. I wrote down a few of them, and they're just basically things like when the staff don't get their progress notes on time, I more likely don't say anything until the very last time, or sometimes I don't even say anything and I just let them try to take care of their own things. Like also when sometimes I feel like people try to step over me and try to take control of everything I do, and more likely I don't say anything. I just simply say that that I'm thankful that they are able to help me out, but I more likely never speak up what I'm actually feeling or what's worrying me when it comes to my emotions. But when it comes to something that's serious that involves the children, then I more likely tend to stand up and speak up. For study number 3, this is a more silly project. I guess it's a little bit dumb, if you may say, but basically I went over to my parents every other weekend, and I just spent the day with them. And every other weekend for about 3 months, I pretty much kept track of the times that I was able to stand up for my relationship with my mother. She doesn't quite agree with my personal lifestyle. She is very, very religious, which is where my self-project number 5 falls on, fallacies. And that will be well, let's look at the chart, and then I will explain how this relates to my project number 5. So this is my project number 5. The times I did not, and the times I hit it. So pretty much the times I hit my relationships and the times I did not. Obviously, the times I did not hit my relationship were 0, and the times I hit it were about 8. I guess when it comes to her, um, she's very, very religious, which is where fallacies kind of fit to it. Obviously, fallacies are by arguments, and although we didn't argue, it's just the type of things to fall off. Like, for example, um, argument from ignorance when one thing cannot be proven wrong, so it's true. It's kind of like the religious aspect. There's nothing that leads that religion stuff is false, and so therefore it's true. And things like appeal to common belief when a lot of people think is wrong. Then I often make myself think it's wrong too, or if it is something is right, then I believe so. It just depends. For this one, it was a lot more harder because it's not about me. It's more about keeping her safe. I know that this is a very uncomfortable topic for her, so I generally just don't bother with it. Even though everything I do or every story that I tell involves around it. More likely, I try to just mention a friend, always a friend, and never exactly who I'm talking about. But there were times that I came close, but I still chose to just hit it. In conclusion, I was able to observe that when it comes to me having a bit of power, it's more easier for me to not be as afraid, because I feel like people are less likely to be mean to me because I have certain amount of power, and I feel like people do have to respect me because of it. In study 1 and 3 were harder because I didn't have any power whatsoever, and then empowering stations make it easier for me to feel not so afraid. And like the outcome in my study number 2, it was more easier. I felt confident. In study number 1 and 3, I was pretty much, I think people will call it like a minority, even though it's totally not even related. I was simply, I wasn't in control of anything. Therefore, I felt people could like be meaner or speak their actual thoughts without any consequences. Not like number 2. I mean, I still will never ever do anything just because somebody is being mean to me, but I feel like that's just what made it easier. In general, if someone were to try this self-project, I will advise to have fun. I feel like this wasn't as much fun because it's a very touchy subject for me. I just like to be in a show, and I do not like to go over my comfort zone. But if my advice is to like pick something where it's not so, it's nothing too, nothing like mine, something that you'll be able to have a little bit of fun and be able to just be yourself and not be so afraid with it. To pick something that is worth reflecting on. I was able to look through my studies, to my data collected. I still have a lot of work to do. I still feel like I'm far away from anywhere near being okay with it. I think that I don't hate who I am. I just hate the fact that I take other people's comments seriously, and it affects a lot of my life. Um, like study 1 and 3, but I will for sure keep working on it for about the rest of my life, as I saw. But it has been definitely an eye opening to see through this project exactly just how much this affects my life. Um, this was the end of my project, and I will stop now.